Hello, third grade researchers. I have our second lesson today on researching in your reading. So the last lesson we talked a little bit about, if you can see over here, getting ready for research. We found a bunch of books or texts on our topic that we chose, either snakes or penguins, and we ordered them from easiest to hardest. Then we started with the easiest book and we read it. And we looked at the table of contents and the text features to see if we could figure out things that were the same in all the books, different subtopics that were repeated. Then we made a list of those subtopics. So I chose penguins, and these are my subtopics. It's kind of messy, but I'm kind of messy. What they eat, dangers, habitat, babies, and types. And I decided that I wanted to start looking at babies first. So I gathered up all my books, all my texts, and I start with my easiest book, okay? So today we are learning to synthesize information across texts. So we start with that easy book. We start with information that we know or we're familiar with, and then we try to add in new information. Another way to say that is that we are synthesizing or combining information from across different texts. So synthesizing, we take information that we already know or we're familiar with, and information that we find that's new, and we put it together. Synthesize that information. So let me show you what I mean. So I took my easiest book here. This book is also on Epic, so you can find it there. And I looked in the table of contents to find babies. The chapter on babies is called A Chick is Born. And so I read it. I read that, oh, you gotta see the pictures, they're so cute. I'll read you the joke when we're done, okay? All right, a chick is born. Most penguins lay 2 eggs at a time, but often only one survives. The mother and father take turns keeping the egg warm. When it hatches, the parents keep their chick warm and fed. Okay, so that's not a lot of information. That's just probably already know that information. Now I want to look for some new information that I can synthesize with that information that I found, okay? So what I did was I wrote down in black here on the top, you can see the black, that information from the first text. So I wrote down females lay 1 to 2 eggs a year, parents take turns keeping the egg warm, and eggs hatch. Now, I need more details. I need elaboration to synthesize into that, okay? So I'm going to take another book. Oh, I told you I was going to read you the joke. I remembered. Okay, gotta find it. You ready? What is the emperor penguin's favorite relative? Antarctica! Okay, all right. Anyway, I found my second book. Okay, penguins. Look at the baby. So cute. Now, I'm going to see if I can add some new information into what I already had. So, penguin babies are called chicks or hatchlings. I don't have that in here yet, so I'm going to write that in here. They are called chicks or hatchlings. Called chicks. Hatchling. I didn't know that. That's new. Most female penguins have just 1 or 2 chicks a year. We knew that from the last text. Parents take turns brooding their eggs. Oh, that must mean keeping them warm. Now before, all I had was parents take turn keeping them warm. I'm going to add in there, this is called brooding. Okay, that's one of my expert words. I'm going to underline brooding, because it helps me to go, when I go back and I make a glossary for my expert words. I'm just going to underline that. Now, The parents take turns brooding their egg. They guard the egg and keep it warm. Several weeks later, the chick hatches. Okay, so I got to write, it takes 3 weeks. I have egg hatches here, but it takes 3 weeks. So I'm going to write that in here. 3 weeks. The chick breaks a small hole with its egg tooth. Well, that's new. A small, sharp bump on the tip of its beak. The egg tooth will fall off after a few days. I might write that down. That's interesting. The chick cracks the egg around the middle and pushes the half apart with its feet. It takes up to 2 days to get out of the egg. The chick pecks at the bottom of its parent's beak to say, "Feed me," once it's out. Penguins are good parents. Both mother and father penguins look after their eggs and chick. Okay, so I can add this information in here. And that's what I did with my blue pen. Now, since my goal is to synthesize the old information or the information I already knew and the new information together, I'm going to show you how I did that. So here's what I wrote up. And I was sure to use some of my linking words like in addition or however once. Let me read it to you, my final synthesis. Female penguins usually lay 2 eggs a year, but often only 1 egg survives. Both parents take turns keeping the egg or the eggs warm. This is called brooding. After a few weeks, the chick begins to hatch by breaking a small hole in the eggshell with its pointy tooth on the tip of its beak called an egg tooth. It can take up to 2 days to get out of the eggshell. Then, both parents continue to keep the chick safe, warm, and fed. So I took the information from both texts and I synthesized it together into one text. So I bet you know what your job is. You're going to pick your subtopic to start with. You could choose babies, you can choose habitat, whatever you choose, and look at 2 or 3 texts and synthesize that information. Okay, see you next time.